There are these projects where I've already decided that I don't have the time to make them, but I still want to do it so badly that I now decided I will do it. I think it's time to put first things first and just finish the vest. It's time for making the lining. I put as much care into it as in the main fabric. Nonetheless, the front pieces were easy to make. Just close the darts. And so the arm holds together. Trim the seam allowance, baste the edges in place, and ironing them so that they're really crisp. I just broke my own rule. I thought in order to finish stuff and not having the feeling of never getting everything done, anything, I just work on 2 projects at the same time. One knitting project or needlework project and one sewing project. So that would be the vest and the striped evening sweater right now. But for the event where I'm making the vest for, I also want to wear an outfit, obviously. And technically it is complete, but I don't like it. So I wanted to make a belt in order to make it more fancy. And I just printed out a little pattern from a magazine from 1893, I think, or around that time. Which was a wooden inlay. But I thought as an embroidery it would look really, really cool. And I also have the fabric for the belt. So this absolutely stunning pink. And I am going to embroider it with the same or almost same color. I have to go to the store and see if I can find a color in that shade. I didn't even check if it matches the skirt I'm going to wear. Let's change that. This is the skirt, the rose skirt, which I sewed years ago by now, and it actually matches. Lucky me. Got the embroidery yarn. It was way more difficult than I anticipated. I remember that there were a lot of colors in pink shades, but none of them had the right color. So I found one which is close. I hope it's close enough. This bright pink made me so happy and I was in a true spring mood. Using an embroidery foil, I traced the pattern, making sure it is symmetric but not perfect. I have right now just about an hour until I meet with a friend. And I thought it would be a smart idea if I prepare the belt for the embroidery so I can embroider while we are chatting. Since I haven't made a mock-up for the belt yet, I just cut out a rectangle divided by half and placed the pattern at the center of it. This way I was sure I have enough fabric. While we had some friends over yesterday, I was able to keep my hands busy and sew in the lining. So this is entirely finished. Both front pieces are so far prepared. Look really neat. And then I also embroidered a little bit at the belts, so that I just kept my hands busy. I made some progress, and my friends by now know that I almost always have something in my hands. I'm just that kind of person who needs something in their hands in order to not constantly fidget around. My plan for today is to hopefully finish the vest. Let's try that. But first remove all the basting threads. I somehow forgot that vests do have buttons. I luckily have those buffalo horn buttons in my stash. First I have to figure out how many buttons there should be, because I'm not sure if that's mentioned in the pattern. So the button count isn't mentioned in the pattern, and there's also no indication where to put them. So I think based on the images which are provided, we have 5 buttons. I calculated where to place the buttons and marked it. These buttonholes I sewed by hand. I felt that's just appropriate for this vest. And it was time for the back pieces. I decided to make the outer back pieces out of the same satin fabric as the lining, and again put in the same care as for the front pieces. My fear of cutting into my pieces is still not reduced. It's the same with the buttonholes and here with the darts, but the construction is really cool. The back straps are set into the darts and then sewn in by closing the darts. Then I sewed the lining and back piece together by the armholes, and having lining and main fabric being the same fabric was going to haunt me later. There was a time I tried to skip these seemingly useless steps so I'm faster, but I found the difference in quality is definitely worth it. I'm not going to say that I'm trying to finish this vest today, because obviously I'm not good at estimating how much time each step takes. So today I'm sewing back piece and front piece together and then see how far I get. The front pieces are put in between the back piece and the lining of the back piece and then sandwiched together so that the side seams can be closed. And this is when the same fabric tricked me into a mistake. Ah! This is the back side. These are the insides. So I have to rip the seams open and resew it and switch those pieces. I don't know how I did that. I checked it, but apparently not good enough. I opened it all up again and repeated all over again, this time putting the correct pieces together. But I wrangled the front pieces back into the back pieces to close the shoulder seams the same way I closed the side seams. And the last step was to sew the neck stripes to the lining to close the entire vest. Can you believe it? The vest is actually finished, and also 3 days before the event. I didn't think I would manage to do that, but I did, apparently, and I am rather proud. I don't think it's the perfect vest. I mean, we have this hidden gem in here, so it can't be perfect. For, let's call it an apprentice piece, I think it's pretty good. There are some things that could be better. The pockets don't align perfectly, especially the lower ones. One is at the back part 1 centimeter lower than the other at that point, but it fits very well on my partner. And I will show you that at the event. Okay, the skirt is on, the corset too. I won't wear my historical corset because that has some fit issues, which makes sitting really uncomfortable. So I rather have to sew a new corset. I had hoped that it would cover the waistband entirely, but that doesn't seem to work because if I make it wider, the waistband will be, the belt will wrinkle at the sides just because my hip bone pushes it up, or technically the volume of the skirt too. I think I will go with that. It's not the perfect belt for this skirt, I think. But I have to live with it, I guess. Then I can hopefully put everything together. I'm planning to finish it in the train to Hanover in order to wear it on the train in Hanover. And maybe, just maybe, I'm also making a hat. I just want to do it, but I don't know if I am able to do it. This wonderful book from 1909, I think, has a couple of patterns for belts, like this one and these two. Those you could find at the store in the forms which were modern at the time. They are described as made of linen inlay, and they are with boning and tape around the edge. So I think I'm going to work with this one and replicate those boning channels. I traced the pattern to paper and made sure everything is perfectly symmetrical this time. I used some tarlatan as base layer and added twill tape as boning channels, since my actual boning channels were too small for this purpose. These bonings were the tiniest bonings I've ever made, and I questioned their usefulness, but I think in the end it was responsible for the really good fit of the belt. It's technically finished. I just need to cut out the lining. So this will be a white canvas, and cut out the string pieces, and then I have to assemble everything, but before that I have to finish the embroidery. But I am surprised that this went so smoothly. Doesn't feel like it should. I wanted to use white fabric, but realized that canvas was too heavy, and with other white fabrics the boning channel was shining through, even through the pink layer. So I used a purple poplin for the lining on the back side and as an additional layer in between the tarlatan layer and the pink satin. Then it was time for the straps for the bow. I wanted a huge bow at the back, so I widened the straps and sewed them together. And since basting and ironing worked so well with the vest, I kept doing it here too. There are these projects where I've already decided that I don't have the time to make them, but I still want to do it so badly that I now decided I will do it. And this project in question is a hat. This would look really weird. And precisely this hat, because I found it in a magazine and I just find it so cool. I think it's 1907. So I bought this place set thing, which is unfortunately plastic, but I couldn't find anything out of straw which was that bendable. So I bought these secondhand, a couple of them actually, and I will use it. And the first step will to make it smaller, because right now it's just way too big. I think I just have to remove around this much, and it's really easy. I just can open up the seam. Let's try to make it in 1 or 2 hours, because then I have to pack my stuff and leave for Hanover. I did exactly that. Opened the seam, cut the tape and sewed it back together. I think the size matches the sketch, so I proceeded with decorating it. One tape running across at the front. And then I picked my fake flowers that were waiting for this purpose for a couple of years by now and sewed them on. I could have used hot glue, but I despise the smell of it, so I chose thread and needle instead. And it worked so amazingly well that I wonder why using hot glue at all. Lastly, I added a bow to the back, which holds the hat in its shape. This looks beyond ridiculous with my current hairstyle, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. I was able to just pin it in place with a hat pin somewhere there, and 2 bobby pins here at the side so that it lays flat on my head. and it's all holding in place. I don't need the hairband for it, which I thought I need, but I think that's the historically more accurate way to wear it. And I love it. I just hope that I'm now able to make a decent hairstyle to match the outfit, because I can't go like that. That's no, just no. I just realized that I have forgotten a very important step about this embroidery. I have to dissolve this foil and also the paint. I can rip off a lot of it, but there's always something remaining and it doesn't look great. So I have to wash it because it is water dissolvable. But then I have to let it dry, and then I can sew it onto the base construction of the belt. And I completely forgot this step and thought I can embroider that on the train tomorrow while we are going to Hanover, then start sewing on it onto the belt once I have finished the embroidery. But I can't do that without having dissolved this thing. So now I have to speed embroider, wash it, let it dry until tomorrow, and then I can sew it on during the train ride. So I sat down and embroidered the whole night, at times doubting my decision and wondering if it is worth it. At 4 in the morning, I finally made the last stitch, washed it, and hanged the whole thing to dry. Two hours late, it was time to prepare it for the train ride by cutting it out and basting all pieces together and adding the straps to the end. The rest I did on the train on the way. And I made it. Just lost my phone due to lack of sleep, so I can't show you. But the day itself was just amazing.